Good morning everyone. In today's class we will see the design of the field windings of a DC machines. As you know that, right? So DC machine have two field winding, that is a series field winding and the shunt field winding, right? So we'll be starting with design of series field windings. Okay. So here the ampere turns to be developed by the series field coiled in DC series machine, okay, is 1.15 to 1.25 times the full load armature mmf. So what this point means is, right, so the amp turns produced by the field, that is a series field coil, must be 15 to 25% greater than that of the full load armature mmf. Okay, so this is done to overcome the problem due to armature reaction, right? So we know that armature reaction, right, so where the armature flux, okay, opposes the main flux, that is the flux in the field coil. So by reducing the resultant flux, okay, 5, so when we know that whether it is back EMF or the induced voltage, right, so the E is dependent on flux. So if the flux value reduces, then we'll not be able to get the desired value for the voltage. Okay, so to overcome that, right, so we are using the machines, okay, that is a series field coil to have greater armature, greater mmf than the full load armature mmf, that is the quantity is 15 to 25%. The next point is the current, okay, in the field coil, okay, is equal to the armature current, right, so which is quite a high value, right. So since it is quite have a high value, right, so for this purpose the series field winding is wound with rectangular conductors. Okay, so that is what is being done. The conductors here are of rectangular nature. Okay, so that you can see in this figure below, right. So these are the rectangular conductors that we are using. Okay, next one is the insulation, right. So the insulation between these conductors, right, so either it is of paper covered or cotton covered insulation. Okay, so that is what the insulation is, right. And then the winding space, okay, is 20% of the total height of the field coil, right. So whatever is the height of the field coil, right, so these winding, okay, they take the space of 20% of the total height it is there. So it means that 20% of the coil that we have, right, so winding are wound for 20% of the height. Then the current density used for series field winding is greater than that for shunt field winding. Okay, reason being to it, but because of the better cooling conditions, okay, that are there in the series field winding. Okay, so the current densities for series field winding and for shunt field winding, they are different. Okay, the value is greater in series field winding than the shunt field winding. Okay, so next we'll see what are the procedures, okay, that is there. Okay, so for calculating or designing the series field winding. Okay, the first one is estimate the amp turns to be developed by the series field coil. Okay, so that is what is that. Okay, so ATSC, that is the amp turn of the series field winding, okay, is 1.15 to 1.25, that is what we have said, right. So 15 to 25% greater than that of, okay, the amp turns, okay, by the armature mmf, that is the full load armature mmf, which is IAZ divided by 2p. Okay, so IA into Z by 2p. Then next second step is, right, as we have discussed, the current in the series field winding, right, is to be taken same as the armature current. So ISC is equal to the IA, right. And then next what we have is calculate the number of turns, okay, in the series field coil, right. So number of turns, that is what is required. Okay, so that is equal to turns in the series field coil is equal to amp turn, okay, ampere into turn divided by the current, okay, that will give us the turns, okay, that is the series field coil turns, okay. So and usually we round it off an integer. If it is a fraction, right, so we'll take the whole number. That is what it means. Next step is, okay, then we will try modify the ampere turns per pole, okay. So since we have got a rounded off, right, so according to the TSC, right, so we will calculate, or you say modify, right, the amp turns in the per coil per pole in the field winding, right. So TSC into ISC, turns into current, amp turns, okay. Next one is, fifth point is, assume a suitable value for current density delta SC, okay. So in this winding, right, so in series winding, right, so it is right in the range of, okay, 2 to 2.3 ampere per square mm. Excuse me, it is 2 to 2.3 ampere per square millimeter, it is millimeter square. The next what we do is we find out the cross sectional area, right. So once we have the current density and the current, then we can find out the cross sectional area, because current density is current per area, okay. So area will be current by the current density. So that is what we have, ASC is equal to the current ISC by delta SC, that is the current density, okay. The next step is, right, seventh step, right, so make proper arrangement of turns in the space available for this winding, right. So that is what already we have discussed in a general, that winding depth, right, is of 20% of the of the coil height, right, and HSC, right, and finalize the size of the conductor, rectangular conductor, okay. So conductor area in the field coil is, okay, turns into area, okay, that is the total. So AC into TSC, number of turns in the series to the cross sectional area, right. So that is what one equation here. And conductor area in field coil is also equal to, right, it is usually height into depth, right. So here we have something known as copper space factor, okay, into height of the coil into depth of the coil, okay. So this copper space factor is denoted by SFSC, okay. So SFSC is the equation, right, the conductor area is SFE into HSC into DSC, that is the height, okay, of the coil HSC into depth of the coil DSC, right. So we will get two equations, right. So TSC into ASC will be, right, the conductor area, and also SFSC into HSC DSC is also the conductor area, right. So by equating this we can find out the area, okay, the dimensions can be found out, right. So already we know the area, the dimensions can be found out, right. When circular conductors are employed, the value of copper space factor is generally between 0.6 to 0.7, that is SFE, okay. So when we are using circular conductors, right. So when rectangular conductors are employed, that is they are used, the space factor depends on the thickness and type of insulation done, okay. Right, so that is what. Then height of the field coil, okay. So HSE is equal to TSC into ASC, that is what the area, divided by SFSC into DSC, okay. So by this we can get the height of the field coil, okay. So choose a suitable depth and calculate the height of the series field coil using the above equation, that is what, right. So using, so SFE we know, right, so turns we would have known, and then area, cross sectional area we would have calculated, right. The only unknown here would be DSC, right, that is the depth of those coil, right. So assuming a value for that, okay, we can find out the value for HSE, right. And then we have the step, calculate the modified area of the conductor with the size chosen. Okay, so now we'll have to, right, so area of the conductor will be changing, right, so because we would have right gone for the value of HSC and DSC, right, according to that, right, so we will again modify it for ASC. Okay, so then we'll find the resistance of the winding. Okay, the resistance of the field winding, right, so it is, right, so rho LMTSC, right, into TSC divided by ASC, right, so this LMTSC is the length of mean turns of series field coil. Okay, so it's the length of mean turn of series field coil, right, into TSC, that is the number of the turns, okay, divided by ASC, which is the area of the field coils. Okay, therefore and now we can have a equation for LMTC as, okay, 2 times LP plus BP plus 2 times DSC. Okay, so this is the length and the breadth. Okay, and this DSC is the depth of the series coil. Okay, so once we have done that, right, so then we'll calculate the copper loss. Okay, right, so copper losses are done, right, so to know about the losses, and also it will be helpful for us in finding knowing the temperature rise. Okay, so simple basic equation for copper losses that we have, I square R, right, so here it is ISC square, okay, into RSC. Okay, so this is how we'll be finding out the copper loss. Okay, so these are the 9 steps, okay, in designing a field series field winding. Okay, so next we'll go for design of shunt field winding. Okay, so here again, right, we start with assuming a suitable depth DF for the winding. Okay, so that is from the table that we have. Okay, right, so armature diameter and the winding depth, so with those respective armature diameters, okay, so we can have the winding depth. Okay, so it is 0.2 armature diameter in meters, right, the depth is 30 mm, and for 0.35 armature diameter it is 35 mm, and for 0.5 meter diameter 40 mm, 0.65 meter diameter it is 45 mm, then 1 it is 50 mm diameter, and so on above greater than 1 meter of armature diameter the value is 55 mm, right. So the next we have is, okay, next step is, right, to calculate the length of mean turn, that is LMT that we had. Okay, so 2 into LP plus BP plus 2 DF. Okay, which is similar to what we had for the series field winding. Okay, so there we had DSC, here it is DF. Okay, next right, we have to calculate, right, calculate the voltage across shunt field winding. Okay, so right, so this is EF is equal to 0.8 to 0.85, okay, the voltage, okay, that is the E by P. Okay, so this 0.8 and 0.85, okay, they are due to the voltage regulation, right, so we have to take care of the voltage regulation, so that's why we are having those values. Okay, so the voltage across shunt field winding EF is 80 to 85%, okay, of the voltage, that is the E divided by P. Here notation V is used instead of P. Okay, the next step we have is calculate the resistance of each field coil. Sorry, each field coil. Okay, so it is found out, okay, by RF, okay, which is TF into rho LMT by AF. Okay, so it is rho L by A, okay, into TF. R is equal to rho L by A into number of turns. Okay, that is what it is, right, so which is also equal to, okay, which is also equal to EF by IF, right. E is equal to VI, right, so here R is equal to V E by I. Sorry, V is equal to I into R, right? So from that basic equation, we have R equal to E by I. Okay, and right, and the next is right step 5. Okay, so for a small cross section conductor, right? So that is we go for standard round wire, and for large cross section, okay, square or rectangular conductors could be used. Okay, so this area, right? So area we are finding out by this formula AF. Okay, rho LMT ATF by EF. Okay, rho A, that is here. Okay, it should have been small AF, right? Is equal to rho LMT ATF. Okay, divided by EF. Okay, from that we'll get the area of cross section. So depending on the area of the cross section, right, for small cross section round conductors, and for large cross section conductors we go for square or rectangular conductors. Okay, then next we have, right, the calculation of winding height. Okay, that is the HF. Okay, so which is equal to, right, the total height, okay, that is height of the pole minus height of pole insulation and clearance. Okay, so that is, right, out of the exact height of the winding that we get. Okay, then step 7, right, so it is number of turns are calculated, right? So TF, which is equal to HF into DF divided by SF. Okay, so similar to what we had in series, right? So SF is a space factor for the winding, right? So there it was F SE, right, series space factor. Here it is SF. Okay, fine. And then the current values found out. Okay, so IF is equal to E by RF. That is the EF by RF, which will give us the value of the shunt field current. Okay, and then the next step is to check for the value of the current density. Okay, so current density we know it is IF by AF, delta F, right? So it usually it should lie between 1.2 to 2.5 ampere per millimeter square. Okay, 1.2 to 2.5 ampere millimeter square. Okay, so but if you are having air duct, okay, so for such machines, okay, we can go up to 3.5 ampere per mm square. Okay, so that is what the changes we can have. Okay, and then step 10. Okay, step 10, right, so we have to calculate, right, the mmf. Okay, so amp turn, okay, is equal to IF into TF. It is current into the number of turns. Okay, so we have to check, right, whether the mmf provided, that, okay, is as per the mmf required. Okay, so mmf required and mmf provided both must be same. Okay, so if the mmf provided is less, right, then what we do, the depth of the winding is increased. Okay, if the mmf is provided is less than the required, then the depth of the winding is increased. Okay, or, right, if the provided mmf is more than the required mmf, then we reduce the or decrease the height of the coil, right? So the depth of the coil is reduced, right? So by decreasing, we are reducing the mmf, right? So this either increasing or decreasing of this depth is done, right, until we get a value of mmf provided, that is mmf provided near equal to the mmf that is required. Okay, fine. And then next we calculate the copper losses, right, that is I square losses in each field coil. Okay, so which is I square R, right? So IF square by IF square into RF. Okay, right, and then next we calculate the area of cooling surface of each coil. Okay, that is a cooling surface, right? So S is equal to surface to LMT, that is a mean turn, okay, into AF plus DF. Okay, so that is what we will get the calculate cooling surface, right? And then next we have assume the suitable value for cooling coefficient. Okay, so assuming, right, so the equation that gives us the cooling coefficient is C. Okay, so which is 0.14, right, 0.14 to 0.16, okay, divided by 1 plus 0.1 VA. Okay, so this is the equation that we have for the coefficient of cooling. Okay, so with here the VA, the unknown VA is the peripheral speed. Okay, right, and then the last step is to calculate the temperature rise. Okay, so theta m, right? So theta m will be the copper losses QF into cooling coefficient, okay, divided by the total surface area, right? So this is theta m is equal to QF, right? So that is the copper losses into the cooling coefficient divided by the cooling surface area. Okay, so these are the steps in deciding designing the shunt field winding. Okay, thank you.